Idaho Matters podcast is brought to you by St. Luke's On Demand Virtual Care, which allows patients to see a provider from their home using a computer or smartphone with on demand care for common ailments such as a cough, sore throat, or a sinus issue. More information at stlukesonline.org.
Hi, I'm Charlie Hunt.
And I'm Jackie Kettler. We're both political scientists who also love to gossip about political scandals.
In Season 1 of Scandalized, we told the stories of some of our favorite scandals from across American history.
While we work on Season 2, we're dropping 5 brand new bite-sized episodes to whet your appetite.
Listen to new episodes of Scandalized starting Monday, September 29th at boisestatepublicradio.org or wherever you get your podcasts.
More Idaho Matters now from the studios of Boise State Public Radio News. I'm Gemma Gaudette. Have you ever wondered what goes into making a card game? It's not just about creating the rules and play testing. Sometimes it's also about pirates and French goats and trench coats. Well, at least that's the case for Eric Olson. He's a former Boise math teacher that's taken these one-of-a-kind ideas and turned them into a very successful new career. And he's joining us now to talk about what goes into making a good game. Eric, welcome to the program.
Oh, thank you so much. You just totally made me smile with the pirates and the goats.
Oh, well, good. I'm glad I could say it without stumbling.
Yeah.
Eric, can you start us out? Can you start us out by telling us how you got started creating games? I mean, was this something that you were always interested in?
It's something I had no idea about. I've played games since I was a little kid, just like a lot of people back in the day, playing some Parcheesi and Sorry and Monopoly and all those types of games. But I had never thought about that when you go into a store and you get those games that, somebody actually made those games, right? Obviously somebody made those games, but you don't really think about it that much, right? And it wasn't until COVID, I was home with the kids and the kitchen table was a mess and kind of made a little game about making pictures with some stuff that was on the kitchen table. And that turned into my first game, which is called Glyphics, like hieroglyphics, just the glyphics part. And developing that game introduced me to this whole new world of the game industry and took me behind the scenes. And it's a pretty amazing, cool world to dive into. So I'm relatively new to it. I've only been at it for about 4 or 5 years now.
But your first game that you mentioned, I mean, it went from being an idea to being on the shelves of Target, correct?
Yeah, it took a little while. And there was a lot of coincidences and meeting the right people and all those kinds of things. But it went from an idea to about a year and a half later being on the shelves of Target, and 2.5 years later, no longer being on the shelves of Target. But that was a really, really cool experience. And doing the first game got me excited about game design and kind of unlocked something in my brain. And all of a sudden, where I had never thought of any game ideas before, the game ideas started to come, ooh, maybe this could be a game, or maybe this could be a game. And kind of, it's just gone on from there.
So talk to us about Flip 7, because this has turned into your most successful game to date. So tell us about it.
So Flip 7 is just came out last year. But sometimes the game process takes a while. So even though it just came out last year, it was my second game. It was inspired by a game that some friends and I played all the way back in high school, for which for me, that was quite a while ago now. And Flip 7 is basically, you might think of it as party blackjack, where in this case, you go around the table and you just say if you want another card, and you just don't want to get a pair of the same card. So if you have a 10 and it comes around to you again and you say, I'll take another card, and you get an 11, that's great. You're getting more points. But if you have a 10 and it comes around to you again and you get another 10, then you would bust and you wouldn't get any points. And the fun thing about this deck is that in the deck, there's 2 2s and 3 3s and 4 4s and 6 6s and 10 10s and 11 11. So there's kind of this inherent risk reward. So if you have high cards, you're more likely to bust if you take another one. And if you have low cards, then you're more likely to be safe. And the game has just, I don't know what the right word is, gone viral. It is licensed to a company called the Op. They used to be called USA Oply. They've done an
Hmm.
amazing job with the marketing of the game, and it's competing with Uno, and it's in Europe. It's pretty crazy, Gemma. Honestly, people will Instagram. I get Instagrammed from Argentina and Greece and all over the place, and it's super cool. So it's kind of spreading around the world, and a lot of cool stories are coming in, stuff that I didn't expect when I was designing the game, and
Hmm.
it's been a lot of fun to watch what's happening.
Okay, so I know you mentioned that it's competing with Uno. I think we need to dive into that a little bit because it's competing with Uno as one of the top selling card games in the world. So talk to us about that
Well,
because
I'm
I,
I'm pretty
I mean,
lucky,
because everybody knows Uno.
everybody knows Uno, and the op, their goal, and I guess my combined goal with them is, maybe this will be the next generation's Uno, if that makes
Mm.
sense, because it's the
Hmm.
kind of game, there's reasons a lot of people gravitate towards Uno. It's very simple to play, and you
Yeah.
can play with three people or six people or 10 people, right? And it doesn't take a lot of brain power or mental bandwidth, which people, just don't have a lot of these days. They want to sit down on a Friday night and just be able to sit down and play something. And Uno has always fit the bill for that. And Flip 7 has some similarities in that any amount of people can play. And even if you haven't played before, you can just kind of sit down at the table and start dealing cards, and people immediately realize kind of how to play the game. So, but it's pretty cool that it's competing with Uno and that it's selling well. And but it's kind of the perfect storm. It requires a good game. It also requires good timing, and
Hmm.
also the right type of marketing and that type of thing. So all those things have kind of come together, fortunately for me, and to kind of put Flip 7 in the position where it is right now.
So I only have about 2 minutes left with you. And I had mentioned you used to be a high school math teacher in Boise. What is it like to have changed careers? I mean, this went from a side project to a full-time career.
Well, this is the first summer, this is the first August where I didn't go back to school in 14 years. So um, it was it was really strange, to tell you the truth, right? We get in our habits and our patterns, and the pattern is in August I go back to school, and instead I've been fortunate enough to be able to work on games full time, and it's super super fun. So I'm just looking at it as my third career, and really looking forward to see what happens, over the next couple of years.
Do you have another game in the works?
Well, I do. Of, of course, right? I'm not getting the hammock out just yet, right? So, um,
Okay.
as a matter of fact, so I have a little company. So Flip 7 went to a publisher, big publisher called The Op, but I have my own little company called Messy Table Games, which comes from that story I told you about with the messy table, which got
Hmm.
me going. And we actually have a new game coming out next year. So we have Booty Dice, which is a pirate dice game. We have the French Goats and Trench Coats that you mentioned. But we have a new game coming out next year called Tally Up, kind of like Tally Ho, but Tally Up. So
Okay.
be on the lookout for that.
All right. Well, I want thank you so much for making time for us. What a fun conversation and big congratulations to you with all this success. We've been speaking with game maker Eric Olson about his new game, but also what goes into creating board games and card games. This is the Idaho Matters podcast. I'm Gemma Gaudette.